Those of you that have been living under a rock this past week, Universal's Destinations and Experiences announced they are building a brand new state-of-the-art theme park right here in the United Kingdom, in England. It is going to be built down in Bedfordshire. It is going to be built on an unused brickwork site, which is land they purchased round about a year ago. With the announcement that they were going to go ahead and build this, getting the green light from the government, they also released this piece of concept art. Thanks to online, it has been massively upgraded into about 4K resolution, so we're easily able to look at it and see all the different parts. What we're going to do today, we're going to have a look at this concept art, we're going to see if we can break it down into the different areas, give everyone a bit of an idea of what we can expect, of exactly what we're looking at here, break it down into the different areas. Also, do remember, this is just concept art, so it could change. They are under no obligation, no rules to follow any of this concept art, so it might be totally different by the time this park does go ahead. But they are normally pretty good. Universal are themselves really good at getting the finished product not too far away from the concept art that they release. There might be some difference in how some buildings look or the colours or the rough themes they've gone for, but in overall the layout is normally pretty bang on. So I would hesitate to guess that this could be pretty close to what we should expect from Universal. What we're going to do is I'm just going to use the designer tool on my PC so we can break down each of the areas, so exactly where we're talking about, what building I think is what. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, if we're starting down here at the entrance plaza, we can see the typical entrance gateway, we can see the Universal Globe, and the famous Universal arches that we should have come to expect at the Universal theme parks by now. This roof down here, I do believe, is the security center. I believe we're going to have the security point here. We're going to have checking your tickets, maybe doing bag checks, just to get you into the main part of the Universal Park. I know that in Florida, the Universal Studios Park, it is around the archway or just after the archway where you get your ticket scanned. But I can't see them letting everyone into this part if it's just by the looks of it, a bar down there and some form of building over here as well with the globe. So yeah, I do believe this down here to be the ticketing centre. I do believe that also to be the security check. And then getting through there, we've got the famous Universal Globe. It is so surreal to say that we will be getting that itself built in the UK. We are so used to seeing it on advertisements for holidays, on advertisements for every other country, it feels like at this point. It felt like we were never getting one. But yes, that is the infamous Universal Globe, which everyone will get the picture with when walking in. It also looks like they're going for the Hollywood style, so you can see the palm trees around here, the classic Universal entrance look, which is great to see. It's great to see they're not trying to change it up too much for the UK park, and they're sticking to exactly what they know. What we can do is walking in here, we can see the nice little entrance plaza. We can see a fountain in here, possibly some shops on the right and left hand side up here, straight down to some form of main street, which is great to see. As I think a lot of the parks that do use the form of main street entrance and then opens up into the wide park at the end, it always works. Think of something like the Magic Kingdom, think of something like Isle of Adventure. It always works to get that reaction walking down that main street, main boulevard. So I'm just going to grab the pen so I can start highlighting some things. And first of all, you can see right here, we have the hotel. You can clearly see the entrance of the hotel here, the rooms all the way around, looking out to the car park of the hotel here. It's interesting to note that the back of this hotel will get some very good views of the park, which if they do some form of nighttime show or parade using drones or fireworks or fountains, which I would very, very highly expect to see somewhere in the middle here, the back of this hotel will get fantastic views of that. I can imagine the back of that hotel, the rooms at the back of this hotel, sorry, will be significantly more expensive for that reason, just as something to keep in mind. This building here, I'm slightly unsure about. It doesn't seem to follow the theming of the hotel. You can't see any windows. You can't see the roof doesn't go along, doesn't follow it. This seems to be some form of show building, or you could even say a restaurant. But again, it's very enclosed. There's no windows at all on this concept art. We do know that right around here, that sign, if you zoom into it, it does say bar. So could it be a large scale upscale restaurant at the entrance, maybe? Could it be the start of a city walk further down this area? We aren't too sure as of yet. What we'll do is we'll head into the park and we'll head right first. So if you come to the first piece of land here, I believe this is going to be some form of restaurant. You can see that there's a seating area around here on the front. Looking out onto the lake, Universal are getting really good at building these restaurants on the lakeside to give you the best views possible, as well as really good food. So that's great to see if that is going to be a restaurant. It's positive to see that they are sticking with what they know and what they've started to perfect recently of them restaurants with the great views around the lake. I would also expect this building up here to be a restaurant as well, but we'll get into that as we move further around. If we look behind this restaurant, there seems to be some form of whole area here. I strongly believe this building itself to be some form of stunt show. At the Universal Parks, they do like to put a stunt show just off the Hollywood style entrance. At a lot of the parks, it's the Bourne Stunt Spectacular, obviously based off the American spy films Jason Bourne. In the UK, it seems a very, very, very easy conversion to make that James Bond. It doesn't seem like something that they would miss the chance to do. It allows that James Bond to be in its own area right at the front of the park. It's not going to intrude on any of the other themed areas around the park. I do wonder at this front area, as you seem to be able to see some form of water, a little front pavilion. I've heard people mention Jaws as a possibility. But if I'm honest, I believe this area in here would be James Bond or some form of stunt show. Maybe they do stick with Jason Bourne, but it would be a missed opportunity not going for James Bond, in my opinion. So yes, I do believe this here will be a James Bond stunt show. I can say the American stunt show, the Jason Bourne stunt show, is absolutely brilliant. So do not take that if it is the Jason Bourne one. Don't take that as a negative. It is stunning. It is amazing. It combines the sets on the screen with the sets on stage, practical effects, great actors all the way throughout. So I'm sure it'll be good regardless of what is in there. But yes, I do believe that's going to be some form of stunt show. Moving on over to the right, we come, in my opinion, to our first full themed land. If we circle this area right about here, this is going to be, in my opinion, Illuminations, or better going to be used, it's going to be Minions. It's going to be the Minions land, which is seemingly a copy of the one, I believe, in Beijing. You can see a looking like roller coaster track on top of this building. So when I first looked at this concept art, I thought this lake went all the way across here, but it doesn't. If you can see, this is the water here. I'll delete the line so you get a little bit of a better view. So if you see where the water ends there, this is a raised platform all the way up here. This is a building on the water. This is significantly higher up than the actual lake level. So inside of this building, I believe there's going to be a roller coaster. It's exactly how they do it over in the other Universal Park to make sure that they're able to run everything without the issues of weather. This on top is surely just aesthetics to look like a roller coaster, and all of the action takes place down within the building. I believe we're going to get a roller coaster down there, maybe some eateries as well. Maybe a flat ride if we're lucky, but I would say definitely a roller coaster, some form of Minions roller coaster going down inside of this building right here. Moving over right here, I believe this building will be Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. It is a classic. It's at a lot of Universal Parks now. If you don't know it, I won't spoil it. It is a simulator-based attraction, following the Minions on some of their adventures. Some things might go wrong. It's a brilliant attraction. It takes a lot of capacity. It's a staple for Universal. They've done it before. They'll do it again. It won't be the first. It won't be the last time it happens. I believe it's a guaranteed knock on that. That's going to be Minion Mayhem, which is fantastic. It's an indoor ride. It's family friendly. Tells a good story, good effects. I'm sure they might put some new little tweaks on it, obviously building a newer version. But yes, I do believe that's going to be Minion Mayhem. And then over here, where my mouse is, I believe that you can see some form of sign. I would guess for a restaurant. I can't exactly work out what they are. I haven't seen the Despicable Me films enough to know, but I would hazard a guess that this is going to be some form of eatery, some form of restaurant, um, which would probably leave the rest of this just to be shopping areas. around the Minions world, around the Illuminations. So I believe this would be a restaurant, this Minion Mayhem, a roller coaster inside of this building to tie off all of the Minions land. So yeah, I believe this is going to be Minions. It's a staple attraction. They know what they're doing with it. Universal aren't silly. They know how to do it. They've built it before. They know people still like the Minions. The Despicable Me movies are still popular. It's family friendly, so it does cover that family friendly audience as well. Universal I do know that have a lot more thrill rides than something, if you would say like Disney, they would go a lot more heavy on the thrill rides. So this does take a nice box to get the family audience involved, make sure there's at least something in this park for everyone. Heading a bit further up now, you can see this building right here. Now, these buildings, in my opinions, are the ones causing the most controversy. These are the buildings that seem to be getting speculated about the most. I have a fairly confident answer on this first one. I'm still up in the air about this second one. This first building, if we get rid of these lines right about here, this first building right here, you can see this exact little structure. This is the Poison Apple from Shrek 2. This is a restaurant. You can see the stone bridge across to it. If you Google the Poison Apple Shrek 2, you will see this exact building. You've got the little spire here. You've got the straight chimney going up, a little extra spire there. I'm certain, at least on the concept art itself. Again, remember this can change. They could fully scrap away this whole area, change it. But as far as I am aware, that is the Poison Apple from Shrek. Obviously, this building is a lot bigger than just that. I can't imagine all of this building is just the Poison Apple Eatery. It very well might be. I could be wrong. But if we're looking at that as the size of an eatery, maybe that as the size of a restaurant, this seems excessive. So I would be inclined to maybe kind of split it about there. This be some form of restaurant. Maybe this is a shopping unit. I would probably hazard a guess a shopping unit, maybe a meet and greet to go alongside the Poison Apple. Um, but I fully believe this is going to be two Shrek form of attractions. This the Poison Apple. This may be a meet and greet, maybe some shops. There's an area here, which I haven't heard anyone mention yet, because you can see the path almost splits into two directions going up here. So if you follow the path along, it gets to here. There's some trees jerking out here, but it splits in a left for this show building and right for seemingly not much. So it'll be interesting to see if anything does go here, and maybe I'm just seeing it wrong in the concept art. But yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on the right hand side of that. It does lead to maybe a swamp area, which again would work with Shrek. Coming around from the Poison Apple, you going towards Shrek's swamp. Maybe we can see Shrek's house around there, him and Donkey doing a meet and greet. Who knows for that one. This back building, in my opinion, is the most interesting, probably in the whole park currently, as we seemingly just don't know anything that could be in there. It would make sense for it to be Shrek. It wouldn't make much sense to walk past a Shrek area, to walk past Shrek swamp or some degree of swamp, up into what a lot of people are saying could be Lord of the Rings. It doesn't intend to make too much sense to do that, in my opinion. I would say this building could be some form of boat ride. It might be a simulator, but the building does look quite large. Um, I know that again, going back to where this Minions Park is over in Asia, they have got a Kung Fu Panda boat ride, which I do believe they could just reuse the boat ride, changing the scenes, pop it in here and make it a Shrek attraction. That's personally what I believe they could do with that part. So if we separate this off into Minions, I would then separate this off into Shrek. Moving on to the next themed land, which is maybe the most exciting. It's certainly the staple. It's certainly going to be the centerpiece, in my opinion. It's the one that Universal have done. They've done to the death. They do it every time they build a park. They know how to do it, and it never, ever fails to deliver. It's always spectacular. It's always stunning. This is absolutely Jurassic World. This is guaranteed Jurassic World. I can't plausibly think of anything else this could be. You can see the style of buildings that they use with the circles and the little triangles on top. You can see this right here. It's got to be the Jurassic World Adventure, right? This, in my opinion, is 100% Jurassic World, which is a great thing. I love the Jurassic World franchise. We all know the music, we all know the films. The rides are always brilliant. Um, Breaking down into the land, you can first of all see this here again going alongside the restaurants on the water. I believe this is quite a big restaurant. Looking out, great views. You're never going to fail to get a good restaurant at Universal Park. Behind this is a strange building, in my opinion. I'm not too sure what this one is. This I've pretty much got at least of an idea as I do with this one. It's definitely Jurassic World themed. It's in my opinion, it's too small to maybe be a ride. It could be some form of simulator. I know that over on some of the parks they do have a encounter with the dinosaurs where you maybe get to feed them, you see people feeding them. It could be something like that, some form of show where you watch the dinosaurs, animatronics getting fed. Um, Unsure on that one, but again, Jurassic Park theme. There's some form of rock feature here, which you wouldn't tend to see that on something just like if it was going to be a restaurant, if it was just a shop. You tend to see that on more of an attraction. Um, so I believe this to be maybe some form of show in the Jurassic Park area. This year, I can imagine this just being shops, a toilet block, guest services style of thing. Nothing too exciting maybe in here. At the back, however, you can see one of the first major roller coasters here at the park. It's massive. It stretches across the whole land. It has a brilliant section over here where it seems to turn around over the lake, which will provide some fantastic views. I'm sure it'll be on all the postcards and all of the marketing material for it. This view over here over the lake, you can, in my opinion, you can kind of make out a coaster exactly where I've just highlighted. Once I've deleted that line, if you look, I believe that's a coaster going around the track. Um, this looks great. It's clearly got some form of lift hill up to here, and then maybe doubles back on itself. It's quite hard to make out from this concept art. It does look long. It looks great ride. Um, but yeah, it's great to have an outdoor roller coaster in the UK park, anyways, because obviously the weather isn't brilliant here in the UK, as we all know. Just behind it, right here, we absolutely have Waterworld. Um, it is Waterworld. I don't know how else to describe what else this would be. It kind of looks like the theater they did use in the Jurassic World films for the the water dinosaur that they had in the newer films. I can't remember exactly what it was called. If anyone knows, please correct us. But I mean, you can see up here, there's fireworks coming off, there's fire effects coming off. This will be the seating area under the cover, so you can run the show at all times. As the name suggests, it's called Waterworld. If you do go see this, expect to get wet if you're in the front or in the middle. But obviously, they've got this cover over to prevent it being affected by weather. They often do include the Waterworld building the show in the Jurassic World area. I know they've done that in some other Universal Park, so it isn't too much of a shock for it to be included. So yeah, I believe that's Waterworld. Great addition. It's always a great show to see. Heading on down the left here, this is got to be Jurassic World Adventure. Um, Again, it's one of the best dark rides in the world. I won't spoil it for anyone, but I'll put a link in the description, maybe some POVs I can find. It's a sensational ride. It's got amazing animatronics, and I can't say much else about it without spoiling anything. But it's a seriously good ride. By far, it's the biggest show building I think on property here, maybe excluding this one. But yeah, it's going to be an absolute A-star attraction. It's going to be one of the staples. It's going to be one of the busiest queues, guaranteed. Running in all weather, no issues with the weather. This is all indoors. So yes, that's got to be Jurassic World Adventure in my opinion. Heading down here, you can see some form of play area with these little roofs, I believe, down here. Or if that's a little small tower, maybe. A little river running through it, some fountains out the front, maybe a bridge for some good photo opportunities of the front of this building. And just here you can see two towers. I believe these will be two shock and drop towers. maybe they'll shoot you up, both of them shoot you up. Maybe they'll both raise you up and drop you down. Maybe one will do one do the other. Again, it's a ride that we often see in Universal parks. If you want to see something similar to what these will be, if you take a look at Doctor Doom's Fearfall over in America, I believe this is pretty much what we're getting here. So yes, that's Jurassic World area. It's by far the biggest area of the park. We were confirmed to have 4 themed areas, which we've already got 3, and I believe these 2 to be separate areas. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because they do say 4 themed areas a lot of the time when they're talking about this park. But I believe this is a guarantee, and the Minions is a guarantee of 2 of them. This being by far the biggest, and they never fail with the Jurassic Park. Heading down here, we see, in my opinion, probably the most exciting part of this, which is this area right here. I can't see a way this is not Back to the Future. That's in rubbish tea, isn't it? Back to the Future. This has to be Back to the Future. I can't possibly plausibly think of what else this could be. This building right here is the clock tower. Whoever has seen Back to the Future, you should know what I'm on about. This street right here, going down towards this little building that sticks up, this is the street in the film that they accelerate 88 mile an hour down when they hit the clock tower, strikes it round about here. This is that street it's got to be. This here maybe looks like some form of theatre, some form of cinema. So we could possibly see a show in here. And obviously at the back we have a seemingly rather amazing roller coaster going on here. Where do you even start with this roller coaster is possibly the question. First things first, having a look at it, what I can see so far, this right here does look like some form of launch. This possibly is a launch. This is definitely heading to an inside section. This is coming from an inside section. So I believe there will be some form of inside show scenes round here. And then how do you miss this structure right here? This incredibly large spike. I believe we're going to be launching up this spike. I don't believe there's much of a height restriction on Universal's park they're going to build, so they could very easily break the height record for the UK. We could see a 300 plus spike here, accelerating 88 mile an hour. In my opinion, multiple times, as you can see by this little cluster of track down here, multiple times up and maybe back down this spike. Multiple 88 mile an hour launches. It'll be a showstopper. It'll be one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best roller coasters Universal have ever built. If it is what we are saying it is, we can only hope. We can only hope that this is what we think it is. Again, I can't see a world in which this is anything but. Down here on the front, you can see some form of amphitheater. If anyone knows the Back to the Future franchise, we know that Marty plays in a band in the first one, and you see them performing in the band in the second one. We could have some local. I imagine you'll have some local talent on here, but it'll be that style of thing, in my opinion. Some local performers, maybe taking some of the Back to the Future songs, some of the Back to the Future scenes for reference. So this whole area is going to be Hill Valley, Back to the Future. I'm fairly certain, fairly confident on that. This leads us to this last area, which again is a bit of a funny one. As I've said, they have said there's going to be 4 themed lands, but I can't see a world in which this land down here fits into Back to the Future. And if that land isn't Back to the Future, it's definitely a family area. It's definitely a more child friendly area. That certainly isn't a child friendly attraction. It's clearly a thrill attraction. So it's hard to link this land and this land together, and I'm not too sure how this does work. But let's say this is a 5th land. This is Paddington. You can clearly see there's marmalade there. It's not hard to see. I can't think again. I can't think what else this could be opposed to Paddington. They want something from the UK. There's obviously we've talked about. There's going to be James Bond. There's a lot of talk of Lord of the Rings. I believe they're going to get Paddington into this park. That's Marmalade. You can see some form of balloon ride here. So you're going to be raised up, spinning around on balloons. I believe these are teacups, like a Twister style ride. And there's some form of water feature here, which again, it could just be a simple walkthrough. We don't know exactly what that could be. And then at the back here, I imagine it's some form of meet and greet, maybe a small bull ride here for Paddington at the back, maybe meet and greet in a restaurant and some shops. It's more than likely a meet and greet in some shops, if I'm going to be honest, but you never know. Then that leads us back around to the front of the park. That, in my opinion, is what we're pretty much going to get from this park. I know that some people are disappointed we haven't got things like Harry Potter, we haven't got things like Lord of the Rings. You think we're in the UK, how can you not have these? What I do want to point out just before anyone starts panicking about this, if we just clear off these annotations on the screen, is something I actually haven't really seen many people mention when it comes to this Universal Park. Sorry, I should have done so many little lines. Because I haven't seen many people mention this when it comes to this Universal Park, but there's very, very, very clearly two expansion plots of this park. They are very clearly planning for the future. Again, you have this entire area here, which isn't used, and you have a clear entrance, and this entire area here, which isn't used. I would absolutely expect to see, if as long as they are going to continuously keep putting money into this park, as long as it's successful. So please go if they do build this. I would absolutely expect to see at least one of these be Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings. I can't imagine they wouldn't want to get these into the park. I know they've done Harry Potter a lot, which is probably the argument, and there is the Harry Potter attraction. The studio's not far away from where this is getting built. But Lord of the Rings is something that has never been done. So yeah, you can see these two clear expansion plots. I do believe that at least one of these is Lord of the Rings. Hopefully sometime in the future. I know they have the room for a second park. If you do look at the original map that they put out, Manor Road goes through the middle. There is two fields, so there is a whole separate field available for a separate theme park, and they have confirmed that. So I can't see we're not getting Lord of the Rings at some point here in the UK as long as these parks are successful. But that's my thoughts. If anyone disagrees, let me know what you all think. And listen, it is just speculation. Remember, it's not, and nothing is confirmed yet. Please don't fall out. Please don't all shout at each other if you think one thing and people think another. It is just speculation. This is a positive thing for the UK. It's going to create a lot of jobs. It's going to create a lot of money. It's putting Bedford on the map. We're finally getting a rival to Disneyland Paris, which should see Disney investing in Disneyland Paris heavily, hopefully helping them out as well. But yes, any speculation you've got, any rumors, please put them below in the comments. Please tell me what else you think it could be. Any other news, any other concept art that comes out, I'll cover. Hopefully it's not too long. I know they're starting construction work in 2026, and anyone who that have followed Universal for a while know that they are not a secretive company. They will tell you what they are doing. I know a lot like Disney or Alton Towers here in the UK, for example, they will hide things until the last minute, allowing people to come up with their own stories and think of what it could be. Universal are very upfront. Once they are getting going with something, they will tell you what they are building. So yes, hopefully it is not long before we see that. But yes, my name's been Sam. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you later.